Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dog Bowl Food Truck. Now, I will be honest, this is part of the same recording session as the last episode, so I'm still feeling a little low energy, but, I'm getting back into it, especially with the outro I gave last episode, kind of reminding me why I'm doing this. And especially since, as I was sorting things out and checking over things, I noticed that I have hit 80 subscribers and almost 500 hours of watch time, guys. That's kind of insane to think about, because think about it, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. That means 161 hours is 1 week of watch time. I'm sorry, 168 hours of watch time is a week. So, I mean, double that, and we're looking at 336. So we're well past 2 solid weeks of viewership time on the entire channel. I mean, that's kind of amazing for me to think about. That 2 calendar weeks has been spent of people watching my channel. Not only that, but you need 500 subscribers, from what I can understand, to get to the point where you can possibly start looking at having an AdSense account and all that to make YouTube a income stream. I'm, just about 1/5 of the way there, and that's really exciting. And I cannot understate how much I appreciate every single person, whether you are just showing up for the first time, which why you would do that on episode like 43 of a series, I don't know, but hey, that's your prerogative. But also to the people who have been there since the beginning, and everybody who's put up with me like creating my edits and then like sliding it by them being like, hey, you think this is funny? Anyway, let's get back into it, because where we last left off, Chase was approached by Clint, who was obviously a bit strung out on something, and Clint had told him an interesting story, which I believe is another like implication of the power of the force that is present in Echo. And whether it's actually true or just deranged storytelling from a druggie, it's hard to say. I'm inclined to believe it's possible, given already from what I can tell. I want to theorize that the spread of this thing's power is to allow for things like Carl and Jenna being possessed, as we saw in Carl's route. And now my current working theory on Echo's route is, or on Echo's route, on Leo's route, is that there's this manifestation of Chase, or something that Chase otherwise represents, to Leo, and something is going on there. And when Leo told Duke about it, now suddenly Duke is seeing it, you know? So I don't know. So now we're hearing that the whispers can compel them to do stuff, and there's no hospital in Echo, so it's all the way over in Peyton. And the person who was under the influence of this demon, this malevolent spirit, this whatever it is, uh, sadly removed himself from the census. I'm gonna try and be sensitive of that, because I know that in particular auto triggers stuff, and I know I need to be careful, because I mean, like, let's face it, the last time I played League of Legends, I played Leona for the first time, because I had only ever played against her, I was like, okay, let me actually play this. And I realized how easy it is to just jump on somebody and then smack them. And it's like, you're now my bitch. Sit right where I want you. And I was like, wow, this toolkit's kind of fucking cancer. And when I was talking about myself, my champion that I was playing, the auto mod for League of Legends chat muted me for the rest of the match. I'm like, bro, what the hell? Meanwhile, over in War Thunder, I got called the hard R 2 consecutive games in a row, so it's like... Anyway. So Chase was pretending to pull out a notebook. Remember, kids, keep the loaded gun who has a loaded gun calm. Well, thanks, Clint. That actually helps me out a lot. But Clinton is still off in his own world, staring off at some trees in the distance. It's weird that you needed to hear that story. Because I come here because of it. For closure or something? Because of that guy. Sometimes I think I see him when I'm all high. And I hear things here too. It's scary, but I do it anyway, because it's different. In this town, everything always the same, but you can make it change if you want. At that point, he starts walking again off the tracks and towards the group of trees. I decidedly don't follow him, instead hurriedly making my way towards Leo's house. Oh, yep, here we go. Here's the r/mirrors for sale microwave where you can see somebody in the reflection. I have a lot of time to calm down on the walk back. Leo is splayed out on his couch, picking through a TV dinner on his lap. Hey, there you are. I warmed up one for you too, but it's probably cold by now. That's alright, I'll just put it back in. Leo watches me as I head into the kitchen and adjacent to the living room. Hey, what's up? My dinner is sitting on the stovetop, and I make an effort not to wrinkle my nose at the sculpted rib meat covered in barbecue sauce. Watery mashed potatoes complements the gooey mess. Nothing, I'm just tired is all. I toss the dinner back into the microwave and set the timer to 2 minutes. As it's warming, I turn back around and lean against the counter and face Leo in the living room, which, by the way, quick fun fact, if you warm something up or have something warm that you want to keep warm for a little bit, not like super long time, but like a little bit, just leave it in the microwave. It'll actually do a semi-decent job of keeping it warm, or if you have an oven, that could also work too, but the microwave's probably better because it's a smaller space. Hey, I was wondering something. Huh? Leo looks back up at me, ears falling back a little. It's about Clint. Leo's brow furrows. I mean, you guys are at each other's throats. I know there's always been some animosity between you two, but I don't remember it being this bad. I frown. You guys practically want each other dead. Leo pins his ears back while he licks barbecue sauce off his fingertips, or fingers. I really don't know, Chase. If I had to say, I think it would be the drugs. The drugs? Uh-huh. Whatever he's taking, it's pretty hardcore. I mean, he's a goddamn skeleton now, right? Yeah. But it's not like I'm responsible for it. I just treat him like he treats everyone else. I open my mouth, hesitate, then finally ask what's bothering me. When we were younger, would you say that you bullied him? Leo frowns. What's bringing all of this up? Nothing, I'm just curious is all. Leo starts to smooth down the fur on his head, all poofed out from his shower. I mean, I wasn't nice to him, of course, but He was an asshole to everyone else. Like I said, I did to him what he did to others. He coughs. Maybe a little worse. Worse? What he did to us was pretty bad. He tried to burn me with a cigarette once. See, when you tell me shit like that, I don't feel bad for any of the things I did to his worthless ass. I'm saved from having to respond to that as the timer goes off. I turn around to pull my food out of the microwave before grabbing a plastic fork and sitting down next to Leo. Look, there's a difference between... There's a middle ground between an eye for an eye and the world goes blind and shake your hands with your bully. I don't believe in either. I believe the concept of shake hands with your bully is to deny that real, genuine harm was done, and it's for schools and other such institutions to sweep it under the rug, not cause a fuss, and move on. At the same time, I believe eye for an eye and the world goes blind, or maybe not eye for an eye, a better phrase would be is, you know, you get what you fucking deserve. Or something like that, you know, fuck around, find out. There's a middle, that's a better one. There's a middle ground between fuck around, find out, and shake hands with your bully. Because if you live your entire life by fuck around, find out, then I hate to say it, but it's another case of if it smells like shit everywhere you go, you might want to check your shoe. You know, if you meet an asshole on the street, that guy's just an asshole. If you meet an asshole everywhere you go, you're the asshole. So there's gotta be a middle ground, because if you just give directly back to people whatever they give you, that's not gonna work for everybody. And that's a robotic response mechanism that honestly I feel like some people hide behind to try and avoid accountability for their actions. So it's like an easy example. When they were younger, Clint tried to burn Chase with a cigarette. Leo knocked Clint's teeth out. Those are both wrong. To say that Leo is right in knocking Clint's teeth out because Clint tried to burn Chase with a cigarette is to not acknowledge the fact that you're perpetuating the feud. Am I saying that Clint didn't deserve that? No, I say he had it coming. But in the same breath, I have to say, however, that's not how you de-escalate. A black eye? Sure. That's when we can start being like, okay, cool. Sock to the face. Once again, I do not condone violence. I do not promote violence. That is not the answer. But neither is this blasé passivity of, oh, it's fine, you'll just have to grow up, you have to be mature, you just have to let them do whatever they want to do, you have to be the bigger person. There's a middle ground somewhere in there. And it's hard to find because with every single relationship, with every single person, it's different. Because Leo takes challenges. If you challenge Leo on something, he's gonna meet you with it. If you arm wrestle him and get sore about it and you spill your drink on him, he's gonna shove you to the ground. And if you get up and you try to take a swing at him, he's gonna swing back. Like, there will be no de-escalation from his part. However, he's also shown that he can be a bit emotional at times. So I feel like maybe a better solution with Leo would be less of a response of anger and more of a, what the fuck, dude? Why would you do that? and then maybe to look at whoever Leo is with, or like Leo's friends or whatever, and be like, why did he do that? Just take Leo out of the equation. And he might get pissed, or he might get, suddenly maybe actually have a reflection once people he cares about see his actions. See his actions for what they are. But that, again, that's kind of all up in the air. Not a psychologist, not a counselor, nothing like that. I'm not an #empath. I'm none of that. This is just my opinions and my thoughts on this situation. By the time I'm almost finished, I'm feeling a little nauseous. Oh hey, this is another one of those Keith Ballard the Perp animatic scenes. Not to be rude, but do you always eat this stuff? Huh? He looks up with a mouthful of mashed potatoes. This microwavable dinner stuff. He swallows loudly. Yeah, you don't like it? He lowers his ears again, looking embarrassed. See, right there, boom, right there. If somebody he cares about calls him on his behavior, it's suddenly a vulnerability. It's suddenly a vulnerability he has. He suddenly, that macho aggression, the aggression drops, the macho drops, and it's, oh, is this bad? This person, mi familia es muy furioso. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? So it's like, I feel like, again, you have to find that middle ground. And also, here's the other thing, like, he's still in his mid-20s. Leave him alone, Chase. He can get away with this. The warranty doesn't expire until you hit your 30s. I should know. I literally had to call out of work today because my acid reflux was so bad that I literally could not sleep. I was dead asleep for an hour and a half, burped in my sleep, and the burning in the back of my mouth and down my throat was so bad it woke me up and then proceeded to keep me awake for the next, 4 fucking hours until until I just gave up and I was like, okay, if I manage to fall asleep right now, I'm gonna have 2.5 hours of sleep. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. It's fine. I mean, it's just sad. I look at him sheepishly. You little fucker. I get better food sometimes. This is just easier. Yeah. I drag a plastic fork through the flaky potatoes. And what qualifies as better food? The diner? Hey, it's not like I can afford it. I make good money. It's not like I can't afford it. I make good money. Okay. Jesus, this episode and last episode, it might just be because I'm in a bit of an emotional state today, due to various reasons, but Jesus, this is a lesson I recently had to learn, and that lesson is that food you make at home will always be better and will always be cheaper. And granted, I'm not perfect. I don't make home-cooked food for myself more than once or twice a week at most. A lot of weeks, I just don't make home-cooked food at all. The most home cook I get is I have turkey sandwiches that I I buttered and toasted the bread, and put some salad mix on it for, my leafy veggies and stuff. And then other times I'll make my own tacos or burritos, since burritos are easier for me. Or I'll have manwich or something. What I'm getting at is that it's hard to break that cycle of just relying on quick fix stuff. It's hard when you feel like every day you come home exhausted, and you wake up exhausted, and you go to work exhausted, and then you come home exhausted, and you go to bed exhausted. It's hard to build that space of time in your day to make better food for yourself. But the important part is that if it's like weight training, it's like marathon running, it's like playing a video game. It's like what one of my favorite quotes from Agents of Shield is. The steps you take don't have to be big ones, they just have to be in the right direction. So the fact that I went from basically exclusively eating out to eating at home and just eating garbage at home to now I'm to the point where I cook for myself sometimes and I'm adding veggies where I previously was getting none, and I'm making sure that I have my proper vitamin C intake, that I'm, trying to take into account the fact that I work overnights, which means I don't get sun, and I'm trying to find ways to add vitamin D to my diet. The fact that I'm taking those steps is correct. Is it good that I'm in this situation? No, I am far from where I need to be, especially since I am past 30 by the time at time of recording and at time of uploading. I am past 30. I need to start taking care of myself better. But you have to start somewhere. In World of Tanks, did you understand why a light tank would suddenly get matched like with 4 tiers higher than itself? No. You would just run out into the open and get shot and die. Not realizing what you're supposed to do. In Marvel Rivals, did you just walk in and immediately understand Ultron? Hell no. You just started throwing your little thing around too much, or you had it stuck on the wrong person, or this or that, When you first started weight training, did you start with the 50-pounders? Hell the fuck no. You started small until you could push yourself past where you were. So, and the other thing about it is the money aspect of it. It's hard, especially at this day and age. It is so very hard to want to save for the future when you don't see a future. When you legitimately don't see a point, it's like the scene from... It's like that scene from Stardew Valley. I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but there is a character where once you get them high enough and you go into their house, they'll be passed out on the floor and you have to wake them up with your water can, and somebody else is like, "What are you doing? What's your plans for the future?" And the character responds with, "Plan for the future? I hope I'm not around long enough to need one." And that has stuck with me for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is that a few months before, I had nearly the exact same conversation with my mother. It's hard to want to save for the future, to want to look towards the future, but that's something you have got to do. You don't have to put away every penny. Far from it. Get that, like you'll hear boomers talk about, like, if you just drank coffee less, you would save this much money. Bitch, what's $7 a week gonna do? 52 weeks in a year, that's like 350 some odd, $350 and some change a year. Fuck you. Let me have my goddamn coffee. So, it's the aspect of not having the capacity to take care of yourself nutritionally and also financially. You can make sure all your bills are paid, sure. But the percentage of, like, in America, of people that can afford a spontaneous $1,000 bill is, like, below 50%. And I think it's below 50% by a sizable margin. The point is that just because you can doesn't mean you should, and just because it's a small step that other people would find insignificant or still nowhere near where you need to be, you should take it anyway because you're working towards a goal. But get back to it and actually get some reading done this episode. I laugh. This isn't about money, I just think you're lazy. Leo mock growls and leans over to grab me. I yelp theatrically and try to hold my tray steady as he yanks me sideways to lay down against him, our heads on the armrest. Hey, I gotta throw away my tray. It's full of gross TV dinner water. Leo nuzzles into my neck. Put it on the floor. Ew, gross. You want ants? This is how you get ants. You can throw it away when I'm ready to get up. Since when do you decide when I can or can't get up? Since you decided to mouth off to me. Now you're the one that's gonna be cooking all of my meals and cleaning up my house, Jula. Okay. Okay, that's a little cute. That's kind of cute, I like that. But then again, I find the concept of being a stay-at-home husband kind of appealing. Unfortunately, I'm very well aware of that. I'm well aware of what goes into that, and the fact that I need to have, like, a job where I leave the house or I would go crazy. I shiver, and he responds by spooning me tighter. Clearly, Leo's gauged that I'm past the point of resisting at this point in my little vacation, and he's taking advantage of it. Estoy loco por ti. I think that means I'm crazy for you. Oh, I'm sorry, he rolled the R. I can't do that very easily without concentrating. Estoy loco por ti. He rolls the R dramatically. Definitely taking advantage of it. We're both too tired to do anything more, which is probably for the best, and within a few minutes I've passed out. Oh boy! We finally get like a proper... Oh, hey. Learning isn't that hard if you've got your library card! Which, by the way, just as a quick thing, as I understand it, unless, like, your area sucks, you don't need a card to go into a library and read. You just need the card to take stuff away. Or get on the computer. Wow. Clint hadn't been lying after all. What? Leo whispers it at me from across the table, not looking up from his phone. Also, real quick, fuck you. Sometimes there are frozen meals that are actually pretty good. You just gotta know how to pick them out. Like, you know, not gonna lie, like your Hungry Man's probably not the best. But I would be real now. There was a while when I first moved out to Washington State where the Devour mac and cheese, buffalo mac and cheese bowls, oh, I was surviving off of those things. Leo whispers it at me from across the table, not looking up from his phone. Nothing, just found some interesting stuff. I whisper back. Good. Leo grins, but still doesn't look up from his phone. Okay, so this is like a minor thing. Like, I know it's Chase's project, but, and I don't know what happens before or after this scene, but I feel like the proper thing to do when you're having to do classic research like this would be to be like, hey, what do you want me to look up? Because a lot of the times, I'm gonna be real, your town's history can be a lot more fascinating than you think. After reading through it, I'm pretty skeptical of Haunted Echo, the main source of my documentary. At least the bit of information I just came across references some newspaper articles from 1952. The young wolf named Robert Smith wasn't even a resident of Echo. He'd been resting at the Echo classification yard after taking a train from the capital. He was on his way to the West Coast, and once he thought he'd found the right train, he attempted to board it. No one knows exactly what happened. Yet somehow his train hopping went horribly wrong, and he was found with both limbs severed 2 hours later. He'd managed to crawl 20 yards north up along the rail before he was found. Oh, God. For reference, for European and metric users, a yard is about a meter. So about 20 meters. Somehow, impossibly, he survived the ordeal up to that point. This was mainly due to the mud packs that had been placed in the stumps, halting the bleeding. Of note was the fact that Robert had seemingly become delirious because of the blood loss, pain, or trauma. Likely a combination of all three, actually. He claimed that the bleeding had been stopped by a creature of some kind. When he tried to describe it, he began to sob and scream incoherently. It's hard to say how much of this is being exaggerated by the author. Either way, I don't exactly have time to track down all of her sources, so I decide I'll just leave it to trust, or have to trust it. My leg jumps as something soft and ticklish brushes up against it. I snap my gaze up at Leo. What? Leo gives me an innocent look while he continues to brush his tail up against my leg. Well, if you're not going to say anything, then please stop doing that. It's distracting. He does stop then, and I feel a little guilty, so I look back up. And thanks for getting me to a library card, just so I could check this out. It's a huge help. He smiles. No problem, Nutria. Dr. Google. Okay, it just means otter. Once again, though, I don't... This is feeling a little... I want to be a little harsher towards Leo over this, but it's like... He is helping, but this kind of feels like the I've helped all I can, or I helped you, now I don't have to help you anymore. I don't know. I don't like this situation. This situation is bothering me. But with that, I'm going to have to go ahead and call it here. And I'm going to go ahead and again give a shout out. Thank you so much to... I don't know how to say your name. Like, Karch? C-A-R-R-C. I don't know how to say your name. You know, you're the guy with the cute right shoe icon. Once again, kind of like James, I really don't know where you came from, but I appreciate you being here, man. I really do appreciate you showing up, commenting, having fun in the comments and all that. I really do appreciate it. But with that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good night, guys.